Hello, everybody. This is Gary Matheny. Today's date is Saturday, July 20th, and it's time for Gary Matheny, citizen Gary Matheny, not public official Gary Matheny, citizen Gary Matheny to start making his endorsements. We're going to do some endorsements this Saturday, next Saturday, and the following Saturday. This Saturday is going to be pretty easy because it's dealing with the major offices, and I don't know any of these people, and yet I've got some impressions and some beliefs, so I'm going to go ahead and make some endorsements. All these endorsements relate to the primary, the GOP, the Republican primary, which occurs on August 6, 2024. So the only way that you'll see some or most of these names on a ballot is if you pick up the Republican primary ballot, and plus, depending upon where you live, there may be some differences, like if you're in a different district, different county, etc., you're going to get different names. And so this is Gary Matheny from St. Francis County Township in St. Francis County, Missouri. We're about 75 miles south of St. Louis. I think that in order to have we the people government, we need to participate. If we don't participate as we the people, then we'll wind up with heaven knows what type of leadership. Maybe we'll have lobbyists. Maybe we'll have egomaniacs. Maybe we'll have drug and alcohol abusers. Maybe we'll have fill in the blank. How about out of control bureaucrats? Or how about elitists or so-called experts? People that know how to make better decisions concerning our life than we do. No one knows how to make better decisions concerning your life than you. So if you want to have we the people, have the government about the people, you have to participate. So this is my opportunity to participate and make my endorsements for the August 6, 2024 GOP primary ballot. This one will deal mostly with the major offices. Next week will be really, really hard. I'm a coward. I may back off one or two of them. It's the local offices. These are people I know. The major offices, I'm fine. I don't know these people. Local offices, it's hard. And then the third Saturday is going to be the ballot initiatives. We got a couple ballot initiatives showing up on August 6th. So today I'm going to start with an unopposed candidate, and that's Josh Hawley for United States Senator. And then I'm going to spin from that into the Attorney General race. There are two candidates for Attorney General, Will Scharf and Andrew Bailey. Andrew Bailey is our current Attorney General. Will Scharf is his opponent. Now, if you allow me to say a few words about Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley is the real deal. He's young, he's energetic, he's principled. He understands how difficult the times are, that we're facing a time when government is running amok. And he understands traditional values, conservative values, and he can stand up for those values in an articulate way. I like to say that in Josh Hawley, the state of Missouri has a real thoroughbred horse in the United States Senate. He's articulate, he explains his position, he takes strong conservative positions. So I like Josh Hawley. Please vote for him. He's running unopposed. But then when you get down to Attorney General, I have heard Will Scharf speak. He's been a Trump attorney. And if you like Josh Hawley, you will like Will Scharf. If we were to get both Josh Hawley and Will Scharf as our U.S. senators, we as Missourians would have done very well, because we would have had two principled conservatives, young, articulate, energetic, who understands the times in which we live. That at some point we got to trim the power of government in our life. And that takes energy, that takes principle, that takes an adherence to traditional values. We can't simply let government continue to run amok. We're like $32 trillion in national debt. When I was a boy growing up, if you ever said the word trillion, you were talking about the stars, or maybe you were talking about the sand on a seashore, but you never talked about budgets in trillions. It's ridiculous. So we need people who believe in, or energetic and principled enough to start pulling in the reins of government. So please, on August 6th, pull the handle for Will Scharf. Smart guy, articulate guy. Can't tell you when I run into a good speaker that really impresses me. I like talking about it, and that's Will Scharf, good guy. Now let's switch over to governor. And governor is an interesting race, and a little bit of a controversial endorsement here. It's going to be Jay Ashcroft. Jay Ashcroft for governor. So on August 6th, pull the handle or mark in the box for Jay Ashcroft for governor. And so why Jay Ashcroft? Well, I got a kind of an interesting story that leads up to this, and it all relates to this current election campaign. So here's the deal. I was watching on YouTube or wherever a candidate forum among the Republican candidates for governor. And they're asked some questions, and Jay Ashcroft had the audacity to say that all people should be treated equally. All people should be treated equally. You know, we ought to take that for granted, but it's not true. We've got credits, we've got grants, we got deductions, we got subsidies, we got diversity, equity, inclusion, and a whole bunch of other things that results in the government treating people unequally. And it empowers lobbyists because they want to grab onto those grants, those deductions, exclusions, credits, subsidies, programs, anything that the government has to pay out. They want to make sure that they get their share. And so the more that the government treats people unequally, the more you have a ground to thrive for lobbyists, because that's what that's how they grow, that's how they prosper, by trying to create all these special things for their lobbying interests. But the main reason that simple statement came to my mind was not the statement itself, because it's kind of self-evident, all people should be treated equally, was his opponents. His opponents, who were Republican opponents, seized upon it. Well, you're against the veterans. You're against the first responders. You're against this. You're against that. You're against the other. And it's just kind of like all he did was make a simple statement that the government ought to treat all people equally. And so Jay gets it. Jay gets it that we need to restrain the power of government, and that we need to return to some basic stuff, that all people are treated equally. It's amazing that here we are in 2024, and we have to discuss all people being treated equally. It should have been going on forever and a day, and yet because of all these government activities, people are not treated equally. And what it does ultimately, it breeds resentment, cliques, and favoritism. So anyhow, please vote for Governor Jay Ashcroft on August 6th. Now we're going to move to Lieutenant Governor. And to be honest with you, Lieutenant Governor is kind of like a figurehead in the state of Missouri. I think that if there's a tie in the Missouri Senate on a vote, they get to break the tie. I I think that they're in charge of senior activism. I'm a senior, it's sad in some respects, but there are all kinds of lobbying groups out there for seniors, and if they get a benefit thrown my way, I don't turn it down. But I must tell you that the $30,000 that the government gave us for the COVID, I never applied for. I was getting along just fine because I had faith in a higher power, faith in God. He was my provision. So don't make me any more special accommodations because I'm an old cat. Treat me equally with everybody else. And so with the lieutenant governor, you're kind of trying to look at some intangible qualities and potential leadership. And that's where I come down for Paul Berry III, lieutenant governor. And full disclosure, I know Paul Berry's grandfather. Paul Berry went to high school with me at Rittner High School in St. Louis. We graduated in 1972, so I know his grandfather, but not well. And the reason that I'm saying Paul Berry III, and I'm not trying to say this in any racist sense, but they are a black family, and they are a conservative Republican family in St. Louis County. And because I'm from St. Louis, I can understand the consequences of that. It is not easy to be a conservative family that's black in the St. Louis metropolitan area because there's so much belief that, the Democrats are the only ones that care about black people. And so you can't vote Republicans. Republicans hate black people. And so they have been a family that has stood against the tide, who has swam against the river in politics because they are principled and they are conservative. In fact, when I heard Paul Berry III speak a few months ago, he said that he was raised a Democrat. And then when he got older, he looked at the values that were generated by the Democrats, and he looked at the values that were generated by the Republicans, and he said, I'm a Republican. And that's kind of what I went through years and years and years ago. I'd noticed that I had conservative values, and yet I was voting liberal all the time, and I couldn't really figure out why I had such high expectations for myself and such low expectations for everybody else. It didn't make sense. So finally today, we're going to talk about state treasurer. And I haven't talked about the Secretary of State because I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. And so, if you don't have enough information or belief as to who to endorse, then don't endorse. But I'm going to move on to state treasurer, and that is Vivek Malik. Vivek Malik. Great first name. I love that name. And basically, he is a Trumper. So if you support Donald Trump for president, support Vivek. Vivek's a good guy. He has tried to get information out to the public that relates to refunds that Missouri citizens are entitled to that are sitting in the Treasury because of overpaid taxes, or we were due to get something back and we moved away, and the government didn't know who to send it to, so they put it in the Missouri Treasury, not the U.S. Treasury. And so I went online. You can go online, check the website of the Missouri State Treasurer. You can go online and see what's owed you. And the last time I checked, I was owed about $20. And but I didn't want to go through the rigmarole of getting my $20 back. But you may be owed a lot of money, and $20 to you may be a lot of money. So you may be owed something, and you'll never know unless you check it out. And Vivek has made that a priority to try and get money back into the hands of the people to which they are entitled. You paid into it. Why not get it back? So next week, we're going to move to more local elections. We'll also be talking about state senate, our Missouri House of Representatives. We'll even dive into some more local elections here in St. Francis County. And like I said, I may chicken out. I may not make some endorsements locally because I know the people. And yet at the same time, I'm faced with this heartfelt belief that unless we participate in democracy, we will not have we the people. And if we do not have the we the people govern us, then others will who don't know us and don't care about us. So put a little bit of energy into the politics that surround you. And you will learn, you will grow, and make your own choice. I'm just making the Gary Matheny endorsements today. So everybody, have a great day. God bless you, and we'll see you next Saturday.